bleak midwinter, long ago. In the bleak midwinter, long ago.
Marley was dead, to begin with. There was no doubt about that. The register of his death was signed by
The clergyman!
The clerk.
The undertaker and chief mourner.
Scrooge signed it, and Scrooge's name was good in business for anything he put his hand to.
Old Marley was as dead as a doornail.
Scrooge and Marley had been partners for I don't know how many years. Scrooge was his sole executor, his sole administrator, his sole friend, his sole mourner.
Oh, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, Scrooge.
A squeezing, wrenching, grasping, covetous old sinner.
Hard and sharp as flint, from which no steel ever struck out generous fire.
Secretive and self-contained and solitary as an oyster.
The cold within him froze his old features, nipped his pointed nose, shrivelled his cheek, stiffened his gait.
A frosty rime was on his head and his eyebrows and his wiry chin.
He carried his own low temperature always about with him. He iced his office even in summer and didn't fall at 1 degree at Christmas.
External heat and cold had little influence on Scrooge. No warmth could warm, no wintry weather chill him.
Nobody ever stopped him in the street to ask, "My dear Scrooge, how are you?"
No beggars implored him to bestow a trifle.
No children asked him the time.
Or the way.
Even the blind men's dogs knew him. They saw him coming, tugged their owners into doorways to avoid him.
But what did Scrooge care? It was the very thing he liked, to edge his way along the crowded paths of life, warning all human sympathy to keep its distance.
7 years passed, and it was the anniversary of Marley's death, Christmas Eve. Old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house. It was cold, clear, biting weather, with the fog pouring in at every chink and keyhole. The city clocks had only just gone 3, but it was quite dark already. The door to his counting house was open, that he might keep an eye upon his clerk in a dismal little cell beyond. Scrooge had a very small fire, but his clerk's fire was so very much smaller that it looked like one coal. But he couldn't replenish it, for Scrooge kept the coal box in his own room. His clerk attempted to warm himself at his candle, but not being a man of strong imagination, he failed. And so he took his courage in his freezing hands.
I wonder, Mr. Scrooge, if I could beg a little bit more coal from your coal box.
You may indeed beg, sir. It'll put you in good practice for when your incessant demands lead me to relieve you of your position and you find yourself on the streets. Answer the door. The exercise will aid your circulation.
Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
Bah, humbug!
Christmas? A humbug? Uncle, you don't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. Merry Christmas indeed. What right have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
And what right have you to be morose?
You're rich enough.
What's Christmas time to you but a time for paying bills with no money? A time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer? A time for balancing your books and finding every item in them in a round dozen of months presented dead against you? If I could work my will, every idiot that went about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart.
Uncle!
Nephew! Keep Christmas in your own way, and let me alone to keep it in mine.
But you don't keep it.
Let me leave it alone then. Much good may it do you. Much good has it ever done you.
There are many things from which I derive good that do not involve pounds, shillings, and pence, Christmas included. Whenever it comes around, I think of it as a kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time of year where men and women open their hearts and think of others. And although it's never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe that Christmas will always do me good. And so I say, God bless it.
Let me hear another sound out of you, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation. You, sir, are a very powerful speaker. I wonder you don't go into Parliament.
Don't be angry, Uncle. Come and dine with us tomorrow.
Good afternoon.
I am sorry, with all my heart, to find you so resolute. We have never had a quarrel to which I have been party, but I am determined to keep my Christmas humour to the last. So, Merry Christmas!
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year!
See you out and get back to work.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Thank you.
What is this lunacy? My clerk chooses of his own free will to marry and have a large family and earns barely 15 shillings a week. And he still babbles on about Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas! I may as well give up and retire to Bedlam. No need. The madhouse has come to me.
I found these gentlemen at the door, Mr. Scrooge.
Scrooge and Marley's, I believe. Have I the pleasure of addressing Mr. Marley or Mr. Scrooge?
Mr. Marley is dead. He died 7 years ago this very night.
Ah, my commiseration.
We have no doubt his liberality is well represented by his surviving partner. At this festive season of the year, it is more than usually desirable that we should make some slight provision for the poor and destitute, who suffer greatly at this present time.
Many thousands are in want of common necessaries.
Hundreds of thousands are in want of common comforts.
Are there no prisons?
Plenty of prisons.
And the workhouses, are they still in operation?
They are. I wish we could say they were not.
So the treadmill and the poor law are in full vigour then?
Both very busy, sir.
Oh, well, I'm very glad to hear it. From what you said at first, I thought something had occurred to stop these public services in their useful course.
Under the impression that they scarcely furnish Christian cheer for the masses, a few of us are endeavouring to raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth.
We choose this joyous season because sadly it is a time when want is most keenly felt and abundance rejoices. We look to those of means to make a small donation in respect to our charity.
What can we put you down for?
Nothing.
Ah! You wish to remain anonymous.
I wish to be left alone. I do not make merry myself at Christmas, and I can't afford to make idle people merry. I pay my taxes to support the institutions I have mentioned. They cost enough, and those who are badly off must go there for any relief.
Many would rather die.
Then they had better do so and decrease the surplus population. It is not my business.
Oh, but Mr. Scrooge!
Afternoon, gentlemen. Crack it.
Try this now. Yes. Good spot. Promising. Gather around.
God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Saviour was born on Christmas Day, to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
Bah!
At long last, the hour of shutting up the counting house arrived. With an ill will, Scrooge reluctantly admitted the fact and released his clerk.
You'll want all day tomorrow, I suppose.
If it's quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient, and it's not fair. If I was to stop £0.50 for it, you'd think yourself ill-used, I'll be bound. Yet you don't think me ill-used when I pay you a full day's wages for no work.
It's only once a year, sir.
Poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. Be here all the earlier the next day.
Scrooge took his melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern, and having read all the newspapers and beguiled the rest of the evening with his banker's book, went home to bed.
He lived in chambers that had once belonged to his deceased partner. The fog and frost so hung around the black old entrance to the house that it seemed as if the genius of the weather sat in mournful meditation on the threshold.
Now, it is a fact that there was nothing at all particular about the knocker on the door, and Scrooge, being a native of the city of London, had little or no imagination. But when he put his key in the lock, the knocker took on the aspect of Marley's face.
It had a dismal light about it. Like a bad lobster in a dark cellar.
It was not angry or ferocious, but looked at Scrooge as Marley had used to look, and its livid colour made it horrible.
Scrooge paused a moment before entering, but his only comment was,
Bah!
The apartment was in darkness as Scrooge entered it, but that did not deter him. He liked the darkness. Darkness was cheap.
Ask me who I was.
Who were you then? You're particular for a ghost.
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
Humbug.
You don't believe in me?
I don't.
Why do you doubt your senses?
Because a little thing affects them. Slight disorder of the stomach makes them cheats. You could be an undigested bit of beef. Well, blob of mustard. Fragment of underdone potato. There's more of gravy than grave about you. Mercy! Dreadful apparition, why do you haunt me like this?
Do you believe in me or not?
I do. I must. But why do spirits walk the earth and come to trouble me?
It's required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad amongst his fellow men. And if that spirit went not abroad in life, it is condemned to do so after death. I am doomed to wander through the world and witness what I cannot share, but might have shared in life and turned to happiness.
But you are fettered. Tell me why.
This is the chain I forged in life. Link by link, I made it of my own free will, and of my own free will, I wore it. Is its pattern strange to you, or would you know the length and weight of the chain that you wear yourself? It was just as full and heavy as this one 7 Christmas Eves ago, and you have laboured mightily on it since.
I have no chain.
You cannot see it, but I can, and you will too if you die as you have lived. It is made up of cash boxes, keys, padlocks, ledgers, deeds, heavy purses wrought in steel. They weigh you down.
Jacob! Old Jacob Marley. Don't be hard on me. Don't be flowery. Speak comfort to me.
I have none to give. Very little more is permitted to me. I cannot stay, I cannot rest, I cannot linger anywhere. In life, my spirit never roved beyond the narrow limits of our money-changing house, but now, many weary miles remain before me.
7 years dead and travelling all the time.
No rest, no peace, and the insistent torture of remorse for a life ill spent.
You travel fast?
On the wings of the wind.
But you were always a good man of business, Jacob.
Business? Mankind should have been my business. The common welfare, pity, charity, benevolence. These should have been my business. At this time of year, I suffer most. Why did I walk through crowds of my fellow beings with my eyes turned down? But my time is nearly gone. Hear me.
I will.
How it is that I appear before you in a shape that you can see, I cannot say. But I have sat invisible beside you on many and many a day. And now, as part of my penance, I am here tonight to warn you that you have but one chance, one hope of avoiding my fate.
You were always good to me.
Silence! You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is that the hope and chance you talked of?
It is.
I think I'd rather not.
Oh, without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. You can expect the first tomorrow when the bell tolls 1.
Couldn't I take them all at once and get it all over with?
Expect the next on the following night at the same hour, and the last on the next night at the last stroke of 12. Look to see me no more. Look for your own sake, that you remember what has passed between us.
Oh, wait! No, Jacob!
Scrooge went to bed and dreamt. This was strange, he was not a dreamer. That night he saw a vision in the night sky of phantoms endlessly circling the city. Each of them had chains like Marley, and some he recognized and marked their restless misery. When he awoke, it was still dark, and the clock was striking 12. But how could this be? He had finally gone to bed after 2. And he slept an entire day through. Had it all been a dream? Then he remembered that the spirit had warned him of another ghostly visitation when the clock struck 1. And he resolved to stay awake until the hour was past.
No ghost. Perhaps it was just a dream after all. Yeah. Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
Who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past.
And what business brings you here?
Your welfare.
I am very much obliged to you, but I hope that you will forgive me if I remark that my welfare would be better served by an undisturbed night's sleep.
Your reclamation, then. Take heed. Rise and walk with me.
It would have been in vain for Scrooge to plead that the weather and the hour were not adapted to pedestrian purposes, that the bed was warm and the thermometer a long way below 0, that he was clad but lightly in his slippers, dressing gown and nightcap, and that he had a cold about him at that time.
Where are you taking me? To the window? I am mortal and liable to fall.
Bear but the touch of my hand upon your heart, and you will be upheld.
As the words were spoken, they passed through the window and stood upon an open country road with fields on either hand. The city had entirely vanished, and the darkness and mist had vanished with it, for it was a clear, cold winter day with snow on the ground.
Good heavens. I was bred in this place. I grew up here.
Scrooge was conscious of 1,000 memories, 1,000 hopes and joys and cares long forgotten.
Ah, your lip is trembling. And what is that upon your cheek?
Nothing. I have a cold lead on.
Oh, you recollect the way.
I could walk it blindfold.
Strange to have forgotten it for so many years.
They walked along the road, Scrooge recognizing every gate, every post and tree, until a little market town appeared in the distance.
You did.
Some shaggy ponies were seen trotting towards them with boys upon their backs.
The boys were high in spirits and shouted to one another until the broad fields were so full of merry music that Chris Bear laughed to hear it.
I grew up amongst these people.
The drunken travellers came on, and as they came, Scrooge knew and named them, every one.
Why, Sam and Mary, and old Peter who lived and died in the last century when I was a boy.
These are but shadows of the things that have been. They have no consciousness of us.
We wish you Merry Christmas, a season full of cheer. We wish you tables full of food and tankards full of beer. We know that times are tricky and bread in short supply, but if we join together we will fill our lives with joy. We wish you Merry Christmas, a season full of cheer. We wish you tables full of food and tankards full of beer.
Why was he rejoicing on all bounds to see them again?
Why did his cold eye glisten and his heart leap as they wished each other Merry Christmas?
What was Merry Christmas to Scrooge?
And upon Merry Christmas!
What good had Christmas
ever done to him?
I had forgotten.
Yes, but where were you when all of this?
Sent away to school.
Sent away from your home and friends to school. A dismal place, deserted this Christmas tide, except for you.
I know.
They entered a schoolhouse and found a long, bare, melancholy room, made barer still by lines of empty desks.
Empty, save for one solitary child.
You recognize your younger self? Abandoned over the holidays by your stepfather, with only books as your companions.
But what books?
Why, it's Ali Baba. Good old honest Ali Baba.
Powerful things, books.
Robin Crusoe. Good old Robin Crusoe. And there's the parrot. Green body, yellow tail, and a thing like a lettuce sticking out of his head. A thing like a lettuce. Poor boy.
I wish. It's too late now.
What is the matter? Is it your cold again?
Nothing. Nothing. There were people singing a carol at my door last night. I should like to have given them something, that's all.
Dear, dear brother, I've come to bring you home.
Home, Fan?
Yes, home for good and all, home forever and ever.
But Father said...
Oh, Father is so much kinder than he used to be, and he sent me in a coach to bring you back at last. And you're to be a man and never come back here. But first we're to be together all Christmas long and have the merriest time in the world.
How very merry. So, you think you are leaving us, do you?
Forever and ever.
Porter! Bring down Master Scrooge's box. Your father has been more generous than you deserve. But I hope there are no hard feelings, in token of which perhaps you will allow me to offer you a glass of my own concoction. No. Then perhaps I can offer you.
Is that the same tap I tasted last Christmas?
It is.
Well, if it's all the same to you, I'd rather not.
Always a delicate creature, whom a breath might have withered. But she had a large heart.
So she had.
She died as a young woman, but had, as I think, children.
One, my nephew. I still have a lock of her hair.
Let us see Another Christmas. Do you recall this place?
It's where I was apprenticed. Ha! There's old Fezziwig, bless his heart. Good old Fezziwig alive again. And Dick Wilkins. He was very much attached to me, was poor Dick.
Old Fezziwig bustled in and looked up at the clock, which pointed to the hour of 7. He rubbed his hands, adjusted his capacious waistcoat, and laughed.
Yo-ho there, Ebenezer, Dick. No more work tonight, lads. It's Christmas Eve! Let's have the shutters up and clear away. There's lots of room here.
Clear away! There was nothing that we wouldn't have cleared away or couldn't have cleared away with old Fezziwig looking on.
It was done in a minute. Every movable was packed away.
The floor was swept and watered and the lamps were trimmed.
Fuel was heaped upon the fire, and the warehouse was as snug and warm and bright as a ballroom.
In came a fiddler and tuned up like 50 stomachaches. In came Mrs. Fezziwig, one vast, substantial smile. In came the Miss Fezziwigs, beaming and lovable. In came their followers whose hearts they broke. In came Fezziwig,
oh, my dear fellow.
In they all came, some shining, some boldly, some gracefully, some awkwardly, some pushing, some pulling.
A carol.
Yes.
Holly and the ivy, when they were both full grown, of all the trees that are in the wood, the holly bears a crown. The rising of the sun and the running of the deer, the playing of the merry organs, she's singing in the choir. The holly bears a blossom as white as lily flower, and Mary bore sweet Jesus Christ to be our dear Saviour, to be our dear Saviour.
And there was cake and mince pie.
Oh! And cold roast and beer.
Oh!
And a great piece of cold boiled.
Oh. But the great effect of the evening came when the fiddler struck up and old Fezziwig led off with Mrs. Fezziwig.
Couple, come along, come along.
People who would not be trifled with. People who would dance and had no notion of walking.
What a night.
He's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us, and so say all of us, and so say all of us.
A small matter to make these silly folk so full of gratitude.
Small?
But is it not? He has spent but a few pounds of your mortal money. Is that so much that he deserves this praise?
It isn't that. He had the power to render us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or burdensome, a pleasure or a toil. The happiness that he gave was quite as great as if it had cost a fortune.
What is the matter?
Nothing in particular. I should like to be able to say a word or two to my clerk, that's all.
My time grows short. Let us see another Christmas, a few years further on. You are no longer an apprentice. There is a lady involved.
our contract, we were both poor and content to be so, until in good time we could improve our worldly fortune by patient industry.
I was a boy.
We were both young, but we were one in heart. But that which promised happiness is fraught with misery now. Another idol has displaced me.
What other idol?
A golden one. You weigh everything by it, and I know that if you were free of your promise, you would weigh me and find me wanting. A girl with no dowry.
Have I ever sought to break our contract?
In words, no, never. But you have turned your back on everything that made my love of any value or worth in your sight. You have changed. And therefore, I am resolved to release you of your promise. I do so with a full heart, for the love of him you once were, but in the knowledge you will quickly dismiss me as an unprofitable dream from which you have now awakened. May you be happy in the life you have chosen.
Spirit, show me no more. Conduct me home. Why do you delight to torture me?
One shadow more. Another, more recent Christmas.
Oh, come children, come clear away your toys. Your father will be home soon and then it will be Christmas. Just put that down.
Home at last.
Oh my lord!
Now, the fun can begin.
Oh, come children, early to bed and let your father have his supper.
She is married.
With a house full of children.
Oh, they are so excited.
You know, I saw an old friend of ours this afternoon.
Who was it?
Guess.
How can I? I don't know.
Well, I'll give you a clue. Bah! Humbug!
Ebenezer Scrooge.
The same. Look, I passed by his office window. As it was not shut up for the holiday and had a candle still inside, I could scarcely help seeing him. His partner lies upon the point of death, I hear, and there he sits, alone, quite alone in all the world.
Spirits, remove me from this place.
I told you, these are but shadows of the things that have been, that they are what they are. Do not blame me.
I cannot bear it. Haunt me no longer. Away with you.
I saw 3 ships come sailing in on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. I saw 3 ships come sailing in on Christmas Day in the morning. And what was in the ships all 3 on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day? And what was in the ships all 3 on Christmas Day in the morning? Our Saviour Christ and His Lady on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. Our Saviour Christ and His Lady on Christmas Day in the morning. On Christmas Day in the morning.
Again. I must have slept through the whole night and day. And now is the hour of the second spirit. But there is nothing out there. Perhaps it was all a nightmare. Or these supernatural forces have nothing left to teach me.
Scrooge! Who's there? I can't see you.
Follow the light.
know me better, man. I am the ghost of Christmas present. Whatever is the matter? Surely you're not afraid of Christmas? Not after all the Christmases you must have celebrated in your life?
I do not celebrate Christmas!
No, but everyone else does. However poor, however beset with cares. It is good to have a celebration at this darkest time of the year. A celebration of birth and hope. A beacon of light!
And what is your role in this bizarre ritual that closes every business and fills every church?
My role? I light the beacon! Come with me, and I will show you the spirit of Christmas.
Another journey into the night?
The best night of the year!
Very well. Last night I went by compulsion and learnt some lessons that are working now. Tonight, if you have aught to teach me, let me profit by it.
Profit? Some things are beyond mere profit. But I will show you. Hold on to your hat.
Very cheerful in the climate or the town below them, but there was an air of cheerfulness. For the people who were shoveling snow were jovial and full of glee, calling out to one another, and now and then exchanging a facetious
Ding dong merrily on high, in heaven the bells are ringing. Ding dong verily the sky is riven with angels singing. Gloria, Hosanna in excelsis. In so hither below, let steeple bells be swung and I-O-I-O-I-O, by priest and people sung and Hosanna in excelsis.
Gloria, Hosanna. Oh, smells good.
Oh, this will put a smile on their faces.
Is there a particular magic that you sprinkle from your torch?
There is. My own. I try to use it to anoint every Christmas dinner given today.
Every dinner?
To one kindly given, to a poor one most, because it needs it most.
And perhaps it was the pleasure the good spirit had in showing off this power of his, or else it was his own kind, generous nature that led him to the home of Scrooge's clerk. Mrs. Cratchit was dressed in a twice-turned gown, but brave in ribbons which are cheap and make a goodly show for sixpence. She was laying the table in readiness for a goose which was at present at the butcher's. The absent goose itself was of an affordable dimension.
Wherever is everybody? The church service must be over by now. And the twins? And Martha weren't as late last Christmas Day by half an hour. I've seen the goose at the butcher's! Martha's here! Oh, there's such a goose, Martha. Well, bless your heart, my dear, how late you are. We had a great deal of work to finish off last night and had to clear away this morning, Mother. Well, never mind so long as you are come. Oh. Now sit you down by the fire and have a warm. Father
On Christmas Day?
Father, as if I would.
Oh, come on. See the pudding. We wondered what had kept you.
Well, the church was full, so I hung back with Tim until it had cleared.
And how did he behave?
As good as gold. And better. He told me coming home that he hoped the people saw him in the church so they might remember on Christmas Day who made lame beggars walk. I truly feel he's growing stronger every day.
Now, Tim, go and sit by the fire and talk to Martha. Belinda, go and fetch the goose. Father, move yourself. We've got work to do.
I'll see to the drinks.
Bob compounded some hot mixture in a jug with gin and lemons and stirred it round and round and put it on the hob to simmer, whilst Belinda went to fetch the goose, with which she soon returned in high procession.
Oh, stop! Let us say grace first.
For what we are about to receive, may the Lord make us truly thankful.
Amen!
There never was such a goose. Its tenderness and flavour, size and cheapness were the themes of universal admiration.
Hurrah!
But once they had finished it and all of the trimmings, there came for Mrs. Cratchit a moment of great tension.
After that treat, there can be only one thing that could possibly equal it.
The pudding! Oh dear. Suppose it should not be done enough. Suppose it should break in the turning out.
Suppose someone should have got over the wall of the backyard and stolen it.
Suppose it should be none of those things. Suppose it was like a speckled cannonball, blazing in half a quart of ignited brandy.
It is a triumph. I regard it as the greatest success achieved by you since our marriage.
Oh, what a relief.
Everybody had something to say about it, but nobody said it was at all a small pudding for a large family.
A Merry Christmas to us all, my dears.
God bless us, everyone.
Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat in the chimney corner next Christmas. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, this child will die.
No, no, kind spirit, say he will be spared.
Spared? Why should he be spared? If he be like to die, then let him do so, and decrease the surplus population. I thought that was your view on society. Perhaps it would be better for you to keep such thoughts to yourself until you have discovered what and where that surplus is. It may be that in the sight of some, you are more surplus than this poor man's child. Oh, God! To hear the insect on the leaf pronouncing on the too much life of his hungry brothers in the dust.
And now, I give you the founder of our feast, Mr. Scrooge.
The founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast on, and I hope he'd have the appetite for it.
My dear, the children. Christmas Day.
I'll drink to his health for your sake and the day's, not for his. A long life to him. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He'll be very happy, I've no doubt. Mr. Scrooge.
Mr. Scrooge!
There was nothing of high mark in this Christmas scene. They were not a handsome family, they were not well dressed, their shoes were far from being waterproof, they were no strangers to the pawnbrokers. But they were happy, grateful, pleased with one another, and contented with the time. When they faded from his view, Scrooge had his eye on them, and especially Tiny Tim.
Can't we stay?
No. No. There is much to do tonight, and my time grows short.
Where are you taking me?
Out into the wilds to see how people live beyond the city. To the mines. To the lighthouses. To the ships which labour through this storm. Those who have to work even on this day, and to whom I can still bring a little cheer.
No, it's true. I invited him here to join us this evening, and he turned me down flat. No, he said, Christmas humbug. And he meant it too.
Christmas humbug.
More shame for him, Fred.
Oh, he's a comical old fellow, and that's the truth. And not so pleasant as he might be. However, his offences carry their own punishment, and I have nothing to say against him.
I'm sure he's very rich, Fred. At least you always tell me so.
And what's of that, my dear? His wealth is of no use to him. He don't do no good with it. He don't make himself comfortable with it. And he hasn't the satisfaction of ever thinking he's going to benefit us with it.
Well, I have no patience with him.
Oh, I have. I am sorry for him. I couldn't be angry with him if I tried. Who suffers from his ill will? He does, always. He takes it into his mind to dislike us, and he won't come to dine with us.
Oh.
I mean, what's the consequence? He don't lose much of a dinner. And what do you think, Topper?
Well, I'm just a poor bachelor who has to fend for himself.
Oh, shame.
I think you are lucky to have such a wife. I wish I did.
I'm sure one of these ladies would fit the bill. To be serious for a moment, the consequences of my uncle taking a dislike to us and not making merry with us means that he misses some pleasant moments and companions that would do him no harm. And would be a lot more fun than his own company. I mean to give him the same opportunity each year, whether he likes it or not, for I pity him. I do. He may rail at Christmas until he dies, but each year I will go to him and I will say, Uncle Scrooge, how are you? Who knows? Perhaps he'll pick up the spirit of the season and act accordingly.
And now, let's forget about him and have a song. And again.
Oh, I have just the thing. After the ball was over, she took out her glass eye, put her false teeth in water, shook from her hair the dye, kicked her cork leg in the corner, stripped off her false nails and all. Then what was left went to bye-byes. After the ball.
Really, Fred?
And now again. What shall it be?
Blind man's buff.
What?
I'll go
I'm not sure that was strictly in accordance with the rules.
All's fair in love and Christmas.
And now, let's have something a little less energetic. A guessing game.
Can we stay here?
I think we should go. My time is short.
Oh, please.
I will think of something and you have to guess what it is in 20 questions, to which I can only answer yes and no.
Excellent. I used to be good at this.
All right, I have something in mind. An animal.
Dead or alive?
2 questions. Hard to tell sometimes. I would say no and yes.
Oh.
Yes, alive?
Yes, 3.
Oh, that's not fair!
Yes, really. 4.
Oh, really?
Yes, 5.
Stop! We're going to run out of questions.
It's a live animal. That's not a question, it's a statement.
Yes, it is. 6.
Living in England.
Yes, 7.
They're in London.
Yes. 8.
That's not an animal!
It could be.
No, no, and no. 11.
Oh, is it in a menagerie?
Should be 12.
Oh, wait a minute, that wasn't a yes or a no.
Yes, it wasn't. 13.
Does it grow?
Yes, 14.
A lion.
Can it bite?
No, 15.
Oh,
A lion. A lion.
No, 16.
A bear?
No, 17.
Oh, does it walk the streets?
And scare people.
Yes, and yes, 19. One left.
Wait, I've got it! It's your Uncle Scrooge!
Correct. And now to celebrate, and since he has provided us with so much unwitting entertainment, may I ask you all to be upstanding? The toast is Uncle Scrooge.
Uncle Scrooge!
A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the old man, whatever animal he is.
And then they were off once more to witness many more scenes of Christmas enlivened by the ghost of Christmas present. Even in almshouse, hospital and jail, in misery's every refuge, where vain man in his little brief authority had not made fast the door and kept the spirit out, he left his blessings. It was a long night, and as they travelled, the ghost appeared to age, until they finally stopped.
Spirit, you grow old. Is your life so short?
My life on this earth is very brief. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight at midnight, and that time draws near.
There is something strange about you. What is that behind your robe? Oh, is it a foot or a claw?
It may be a claw for the flesh that is upon it. Look!
A girl and a boy, yellow, meagre, ragged, scowling, as though a shriveled hand had pinched and twisted them into a spectre of degradation and menace.
Spirit, are they yours?
They are mankind's. The girl is want, the boy ignorance. Beware them both, but most of all beware the boy, for on his brow is written that which is doomed to us all, unless that writing be erased. Deny it, slander those that tell it ye, and make it worse, and bide the end.
Have they no refuge or resource?
Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses?
In the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come. Are you about to show me the shadows of things that have not yet happened? Is that so, Spirit? I fear you more than any spectre I have yet seen, but as I know your purpose is to do me good, I am prepared to bear your company and do it with a thankful heart. Will you not speak to me?
The phantom made no reply, but led Scrooge into the heart of the city amongst the merchants, who hurried up and down and clinked the money in their pockets and trifled thoughtfully with their gold watches as they conversed in groups.
No, I don't know much about it either way. I only know he's dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
Why, what was the matter with him? I thought he would never die.
God knows.
What has he done with his money?
I haven't. Hey!
Left it to his company, perhaps.
I only know he hasn't left it to me.
It's likely to be a very cheap funeral. I can't think of anybody who'd go.
Perhaps we should set up a party and volunteer.
I don't mind going if a lunch is provided.
Now there's a thought.
Well, I'm not good at funerals. I never wear black gloves. And I never read lunch.
Well, come to think of it, I wasn't a particular friend of his.
I just occasionally bumped into him on the street like this.
Yes!
Mustache.
Lunches to go to.
Goodbye.
Scrooge looked about to see if he could be found in these streets by the exchange, but another man stood in his usual corner, and he saw no one resembling himself.
They left this busy scene and went to an obscure part of town. The ways were foul and narrow, the shops and houses wretched, the people half naked, drunken, slipshod, ugly.
Arches and alleyways like so many zestfuls disgorged their offences upon the streets, and the whole quarter reeked of crime, filth and misery. Finally, they came to a low-browed beetling shop where iron, old rags, bows, bottles and greasy offal were bought and sold.
I was first. No need to push in.
I'll let you two fight it out.
Come one, come all. I'll take the charwoman first, then the laundress, and last of all, the undertaker.
I know my place.
Now, what have you got for me? Where did you come by all this?
Never you mind. Everyone has the right to take care of themselves. He always did.
That's true. No man more so.
Who's the worse for a loss of a few things like this? Not a dead man, I suppose.
No, indeed. My thoughts as well.
If he'd have wanted to have kept him after he was dead, wicked old Screw, then why weren't he more natural in his lifetime? Well, if he had been, he'd have had somebody to look after him when he was struck down, instead of gasping out his last breath there, all alone, all by himself.
It's the truest word that was ever spoke. It's a judgment on him.
I wish it had been a little heavier judgment. And it might have been if I could have laid my hands on something else before certain other pies joined in.
Yes.
Open the bundle, Joe. Tell me the true value of it. I ain't afraid to be the first, nor afraid to let them see. We all knew we was going to help ourselves when we met here. It's no sin. Open the bundle, Joe.
Oh, look, I can't hang around. I've got a funeral to go to. Take these. You'll find a couple of seals, a pencil case, 2 shirt buttons, and a brooch with a lock of hair.
That's your account, and I wouldn't give another sixpence if I was to be boiled for not doing it. Who's next?
Me. Here. I've got some sheets and towels, a little wearing apparel, 2 old-fashioned teaspoons and a pair of sugar tongs, and a few boots.
I always give too much to ladies. It's a weakness of mine. And that's the way I ruin myself. Take it or leave it. If you ask for a single penny more, I'd repent of being so liberal and knock off half a crown.
Oh.
Now, will you open my bundle?
I will. What do you call this?
Bed curtains.
You don't mean you took 'em down, rings and all, with him lying there?
Yes, I do. What of it?
You were born to make your fortune, and you'll certainly do it.
Well, I shan't hold my hand for the sake of such a man as he was. Here, careful, Joe. Don't get no lamp oil on them blankets.
His blankets?
Well, he ain't gonna catch cold without 'em, is he?
Here, I hope he didn't die of anything catching.
Don't you worry about that. And you can look through that shirt till your eyes ache. You won't find a hole in it. That was the best he had. They'd wasted it by burying him in it. They laid him out in it. But I soon had it off him.
Even I wouldn't stoop to that. Here's your money.
I do not know who this unhappy man is, but if there is a person who feels emotion caused by his death, show that person to me, I beseech you.
Good or bad?
Bad.
We're quite ruined.
No, there is hope yet.
If he relents, nothing is past hope if such a miracle has happened.
He is beyond relenting.
Then we are lost.
No, he is dead. I went to see him, as we agreed, hoping for some delay in the payment of our debt. I found an house full of scavengers. He's gone, out of our lives for good. I'm sure the debt will be transferred, but the lawyers will take their time feeding off his will, and by then we'll have the money to repay it. We may sleep tonight with light hearts.
Show me some spark of tenderness in recollection of this unhappy man's life. Is he entirely unmourned? Who was he? What is this place? A graveyard? Before I draw near to that stone, answer me one question. Are these the shadows of the things that will be or that only may be? Men's courses will foreshadow certain ends to which they must lead. But if the courses can be changed, cannot the ends change as well? Spirit, no! I am that unloved man! I will not be the man I was. I am capable of change. There is time to make amends. I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all year. I will live in the past, present and future. These spirits will intercede for me, and I will not shut out the lessons that they teach. Oh,
Jacob Marley. Heaven and Christmas be praised for this. Oh, and I still have my curtains. They are not torn down. They are still here. I am still here. The shadows of the things that might have been dispelled. I don't know what to do. I feel as light as a feather, as happy as a schoolboy. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year. Oh, there's the saucepan that the gruel was in. There's the door by which the ghost of Jacob Marley entered. That's where the ghost of Christmas present sat. It all happened. But it's all right. How long have I been with the spirits? I don't know what day of the month it is. I don't know anything anymore. Never mind, I don't care. Hello, you there, you boy. What day is it?
Are you talking to me?
What day is it, my fine fellow?
Christmas Day, of course.
It's Christmas. Must have done it all in one night. Of course they did. They're spirits. Do you know the poulterers in the next street but one on the corner?
I should think I do.
What an intelligent boy. Remarkable boy. Do you know they have the prize turkey hanging up outside? Not the little prize turkey, the big one.
What? The one as big as me?
What a delightful boy. I'm enjoying talking to him. Yes, the one as big as you.
It's still hanging there.
Is it? Go and buy it.
You're joking.
No, I am in earnest. Go and buy it and tell them to bring it here that I may give them directions on where to send it. Come back in less than 5 minutes and I'll give you £50. I'll send it to Bob Cratchit. He won't know who sent it. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim.
He wrote the address with a hand that trembled with excitement at the surprise that his gift would give to Bob's family. It was a new sensation, and he found that he liked it. It was a turkey. He could have never stood upon his legs, that bird. He would have snapped them off short in a minute like sticks of sealing wax. Scrooge returned to his apartment to make himself fit for Christmas Day. Shaving was not an easy task, for he chuckled a lot and his hand continued to shake. But he managed it without cutting off his nose. Then he dressed himself all in his best and prepared to go out into the streets. The people were by this time pouring forth, and he looked forward to mingling with them in his new mood of benevolence.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, Merry Christmas. Oh, so thank you so much, Charity. Oh, it's meant a lot of people in this borough.
Oh, pleasure. So kind of you. So
splendid. Should we have Carol read? Dickens said it was powerful.
Oh, yes.
Carol.
Yes.
Carol. Oh, yeah.
I saw 3 ships come sailing in on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. I saw 3 ships come sailing in on Christmas Day in the morning. And what was in those ships all 3 on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day? And what was in those ships all 3 on Christmas Day in the morning? Our Saviour Christ and His Lady on Christmas Day, on Christmas Day. Our Saviour Christ and His Lady on Christmas Day in the morning. On Christmas Day in the morning.
Oh dear, a gentleman who was seeking charitable donations. I fear he may have a poor impression of me. My dear sir, how do you do? I hope you were successful yesterday in your quest for donations. It was kind of you to take the trouble. Merry Christmas.
Mr. Scrooge?
Yes, that is my name, and I fear it may not be pleasant to you, but
Allow me to ask your pardon and offer you a small addition to your charity.
Lord bless me, dear Mr. Scrooge. Are you serious?
Not a farthing less. A great many back payments are included in it, I assure you.
I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything. Come and see me. Will you come and see me?
I will!
Oh, thank you. I am much obliged to you. I thank you 50 times.
He had never dreamed that anything would give him so much happiness. In the afternoon, he turned his steps towards his nephew's house. He passed the door a dozen times before he had the courage to go off and ring the bell.
All right, I'm coming.
Hello, my dear. Is your master at home?
Yes, sir. I'll fetch him 1 moment.
Bless my soul. Who is that?
It is I, your Uncle Scrooge. I have come to dinner. Will you let me in?
Let him in? It is a mercy he didn't shake his arm off. In 5 minutes.
Oh, nothing could be heartier.
Oh, his niece by marriage looked the same.
And so did Topper. And Topper's young lady.
So did everyone.
A wonderful party.
Wonderful games.
Wonderful food.
Wonderful happiness.
Hurrah!
Scrooge was early in the office next morning. If only he could be there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming late. And he did it. Yes, he did. The clock struck 9. No Bob. 1:15. No Bob. He was a full 18 minutes and a half behind his time.
And what do you mean by coming here at this time of day?
I'm very sorry, sir. I know I'm a little behind my time.
You are indeed. Step this way, sir, if you please.
It's only once a year, sir. It won't be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday and there was an unexpected turkey.
A likely story. Now I'll tell you what, my friend. I am not going to stand for this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, I'm going to raise your salary. Merry Christmas, Bob. A merrier Christmas than I have given you in many a year. I will raise your salary and endeavour to support your struggling family. And we'll discuss your affairs this very afternoon over a bowl of Christmas punch. Stoke up the fire and buy another coal scuttle before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit.
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father.
He became as good a friend.
As good a master.
As good a man as the good old city knew.
Some people laughed to see the alteration in him.
But he let them laugh, and little heeded them.
But he was wise enough to know there was nothing upon this globe for good at which some people did not have their fill of laughter at the outset.
The main thing was that his own heart laughed.
And that was quite enough for him.
He had no further dealings with spirits, but lived upon the principle of total abstinence ever afterwards.
And it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well if any man alive possessed the knowledge. May that truly be said of all of us. And as Tiny Tim observed,
God bless us